Thicker is
And
a
used fountain
extension.
pens, we had to use fountain pens.
Yeah, you
They
used
wouldn't allow
those pen
ballpoint.
that you would just
Yeah.
dip.
They were against ball.
No, I never had used
Yeah,
those, but I heard about them.
Remember I taught at
Did they
past
reach
times
you ready?
in Kalamazoo, and I'm videoing my company.
Videoing Jason, videoing me, videoing her.
And I'm being laughing at me being so corny.
Okay.
I'm sorry, a lot of this is stuff that we already talked about, and stuff you already know.
Jerry,
stop
it,
Okay, John.
Okay, this is my dad.
Yes, you can. And it doesn't matter if you cry. So you have this little misconception about crying. Crying's good.
See, you don't get mad at me. You don't get mad at me, so.
Okay, my gift from God was never bought.
See, Mom doesn't do
His
it.
value was immeasurable. His worth cannot be told. My dear dad lived in our home with my husband and me for the last 14 years and lived near us for nearly 20 years before that. I was the fourth daughter born to them that first year after he came home from World War II. Of course, he really wanted a boy. After all this.
How do we know?
There's something else came up and I can't hear.
Oh. And you just click on that.
And of course he really wanted a boy after all those girls, and I often delighted in the story he told about when I was born on Friday the 13th. And when asked if he got his boy, he replied, well, it's Friday the 13th, isn't it? Delighted, I guess I was delighted because, I guess it delighted me, I guess I should have said, because I think maybe repenting, he spent the next 65 years making me feel so very cherished and loved. He knew me better than anyone else, and yet he loved me so unconditionally, day in and day out. Unconditional love seemed to be the theme of Dad's life. He really understood Christ's love for him and acceptance and love shown through him to all of his family, even all the exes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about a Kleenex before. I don't need the box.
There's a puppy.
Dad sometimes lamented that he didn't have that much learning, though he did graduate from high school. But he often amazed me how he could do about anything. He worked as a gas man for some time and also in the produce department of a store. Oh, one thing I remembered about this, I learned how to buy vegetables and bread and stuff from Dad, because you always go to the back, because the best stuff is in the back, And I don't know if any other people's parents taught him that or not, But anyway, both things came in handy as he later ran a grocery store and fixed countless things in our homes and businesses. He has helped me with countless projects, and even if it was a dumb idea, he was there for me. Jack, you don't have to say yeah.
She gives you a hard time.
He was always there for any of us working on home or family projects. He and his dad built several houses, and in the early 50s, he and Mom opened their first restaurant. Cooking was one skill he had never acquired. Mom was an excellent cook, so there was no need for him to. But shortly into that adventure, when his cooks didn't show up with instructions from Mom, he got in and learned. I, for one, can attest to the fact that he learned it well. He soon added a dry beef stand in the second restaurant. Mom said he often worked 20 hours a day. He was a great provider. Then when he gave his life to Jesus and everything else, when he saw a job that she went for, and joyfully put everything up for sale and went into mission. In the mission, our family income was drastically reduced. Mom made the food stretch, and we never felt like we were poor.
I remember needing money for a cheerleading sweater, and I got it, and the questions asked, only to realize much later that it was probably the last $10 of the house. In the mission, his skills blossomed. He often worked with very limited resources and created masterpieces. His cooking skills expanded, and he often cooked for groups of hundreds. He often joked of being a jack of all trades but master of none. But he could fix anything. He could fix anything and serve huge groups of people.
We're down our meat.
I was just gonna say on a dime.
Well, I'm
The
gonna get
addition
her,
of another 100, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, when you're talking about grandma making meals, but as your mom said once before about, I always thought she likes the chicken neck.
Oh, that's beautiful.
The addition of another 100 to feed never fazed him. In the kitchen and in life, he was definitely a master. In the years after Mom died, he was offered a job with a large organization, not to physically work, but to be there as a safely influence. Although he turned down the job, it described his lifestyle. That is what he has meant to our family as well as to countless others.
Wishy
Other
puppy.
lives he has touched for years. His passing was gracious. He went into his arms gracefully and without joystick.
Wishy puppy,
He still has
Joey.
his smile. He still had his smile lines that we all love to hear.
Waffle.
Very good.
So is it, what is underneath it?